sure. We should be live. Make sure everywhere we're live. Okay, we are live. Cool. Perfect. All right, cool. All right, guys, welcome into a SlamZoneSports review of Dynamite for 9/7/2022. Tony Khan addressed us fans. We had CM Punk, somewhat related stuff through promos tonight without his name being said. And we had it was kind of a subdued Dynamite. It was kind of just playing it safe. We'll put it that way.
Yep.
Playing it very, very safe to the vest.
Very.
I'm with Fatal
They practically
Streams.
removed CM Punk from any storyline or any, basically memory of anything that's been going on recently.
So I'm here with Fatal Streams, co-owner of SlamZoneSports, and that's what you were just hearing right now. And so you didn't really get. I know I did a video on the channel, and I know you didn't get. You're saying it, but what do you think of all this? As a wrestling fan, what do you think of all of the shit that's gone down? And we've talked about all these updates. What do you think?
I mean, to take a look at it as a fan and as a business aspect, and none of that should have ever happened. Punk, since day one, since he's stepped foot into AEW, he's been all in business for himself. It hasn't been for the benefit of AEW. It hasn't been for the benefit of the roster, as he said in a promo. It hasn't been for the betterment of the company and the wrestling industry. It's been for the betterment of Punk and anyone he can destroy in the process.
I agree.
It's been shown with this past couple pay-per-views, this and that, all of a sudden he wins the championship, he's injured, he's gone for the summer, he comes back, he loses in really quick fashion, and then he wins it back, and then all of a sudden in the post-medium scrum, he is bashing EVPs and talking shit on everybody. Why? What does he have to gain from that? Nothing.
You're right.
Now, on the other side of it, as executive vice presidents and stuff like that, the Bucks should have known better. They got to have a thicker skin. People are going to talk shit, and it may even be your coworkers. But you don't go and kick somebody's door down looking for a fight. Because if you go and kick somebody's door down, guaranteed you're looking for a fight, especially if you're going against another competitor. You're begging for it.
Right.
At the same time, none of that should have gone down the way it should have. CM Punk should have been cut off by Tony Khan right when he started on that rant. That's not the way they're supposed to do things. That's not the way they started out. That's not the way they should go about it.
I will say this to further your point. I think Tony Khan he's learning right now, and I think he's learning that, hey, that the perception of the fans means something. You can't have this kind of stuff happening in front of fans. You can't call it a work or a shoot. You there's so much you could slice and dice. Wrestling fans are smart. We are smart fans, which they call us marks. But at the end of
even as fans, we've got reporters everywhere. Little backstage reporters everywhere. So the fact that somebody picked up a chair and chucked it at somebody,
right?
That's not a work. That's not a work.
That there's no right on that.
He could have killed him with that chair.
Yes. In any work environment, you would have been fired. If you would have thrown a chair, you would have been fired.
And if Tony Khan's final justification is to fire CM Punk and never bring him back, he will be completely justified in that, and I will be okay with that.
Same here. I think CM Punk should be fired. I think there's a foregone conclusion. And you got these article writers, which I'm not going to, shame on them. But I am going to honestly say, personal opinion, I'm going to say, if you suspend Ace Steel and CM Punk and bring them back, you're going to look like the biggest fucking joke. Fans want him gone. It's just a foregone conclusion here. He needs to be fired.
Yeah, I don't care how much of a draw he is right now. He is a hazard to your company.
And if you bring him back, you're detrimenting your company.
You're basically telling him he's okay. Do it again. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you'll just have rough shot. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be sexual with this, but it just seems like CM Punk is bent behind the knee and giving him a ream job and a half to Tony Khan. I feel bad for Tony Khan in this way because he was a fan going into this, and he really wanted CM Punk behind his company. Well, you should have read up on what you were going to get.
Tony Khan's going to end up hating wrestling by the time this is all over.
Right. I'm just going to say, look, I got to give credit tonight to Jon Moxley, Danielson, Chris Jericho. Pure respect to all three of those gentlemen in a room. And Tony Schiavone. Like, however you could say it, Tony Schiavone, yeah, he may not know everything about wrestling, but he's been in the trenches. And to give Tony Khan those words of advice in his ear when this was all happening and why the decisions happened, you could thank Tony Schiavone for a lot of it. And when you were reading reports, you got to see Tony Schiavone come in the fold here, pull TK to the side and said, hey, you got to fix what's going on. And Tony Schiavone's been through something similar of this in WCW back in 99, back in 94, 96 when this was happening. WCW wasn't perfect. And AEW can come back from this. How AEW comes back from this is they build the trust back. They build the foundation. Like Jon Moxley said today, we got to build the foundation back within the fans.
Yeah, you got to stop that right there because, going back to the WCW point, there was a point in 96, 97, 98 where NWO, this most loved amongst all your fan base and, most everybody, like, they were going around actually hurting people during matches.
Yes.
Actually hurting them and putting them on injured lists to further their own careers. That's why Tony Schiavone, he's been through the trenches. He's seen all this happen. That's why he, when he pulls Tony Khan to the side and says stuff, Tony should probably listen.
Yes, and I think Tony needs to listen to a lot of the people that are, honestly, Tony Khan should just listen to people. I think he needs to start becoming businessman. Am I asking for Tony Khan to come on TV every week and announce himself? No, what I want him to start doing is coming out on television. One thing I didn't like tonight, and I get it was pre-recorded probably. Stop with the suits. Stop with the crap. Come out and address your audience. Come out on TV with a mic and go, hey, look, we fucked up. I fucked up. Personally, I messed up. Hey, look, I messed up as a owner, as a person. I'm going to make things right. We're going to get back to having matches, signing good talent. We're going to work what we have. And I promise you that this will get better. I messed up. I said some choice words about another company. I did the things I shouldn't have done, but I was angry. I was mad. And there were, I know he can't go into all of it, but he could say there was a situations. You guys all read it. But we're gonna go forward from here. I was expecting that. We're gonna go forward from here. He played it safe tonight. I know why, because there's law enforcement involved. There's an internal investigation happening. I guarantee that's got to do.
Yeah,
with
you
Warren.
could 100% tell that a lot of things were being held back. That's why no information was being given about why the titles were being vacated. Just that there was 2 championships being vacated, and guess what? There's going to be a new champion crowned tonight and a new champion crowned in 2 weeks. And that was enough said until everything's finalized.
And I got to give Tony Khan, he played it by the vest. He played it by the
because vest. You can guarantee that the Bucks are going to sue the fucking brakes off of Punk.
Probably. Most likely.
Because Ace Steel is his guy. They're going to sue the bricks off of both of them.
I agree with you, but I also think CM Punk will pay his way out. I think on this one, I think it's just going to hurt.
Probably, but not without signing a fucking check to the Young Bucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there will be money thrown around in that situation. I think compensation will happen. Do I think the Elite are going to be suspended indefinitely. The way Tony Khan was going, yes. And rightfully so. Same with CM Punk. You don't, in a work environment, let's say, let's say I'm working for Target, right? Or Walmart, and I decide to hit my employee. I'm mad at him today, and I'm going to go take a chair and do some harm. I'm going to jail.
Going to jail, you're fired. You might as well not even come in to collect your final paycheck because it'll just get mailed to you. Don't even step foot on the property.
So, so I get what Tony Khan did. I really understand. He's got to play it by the vest. He's got to play it professionally. I know this is overshining what the match is tonight, but there wasn't really much that went on Dynamite. You could see it was a
newly crowned, trios champions in the Death Triangle, which, I seen that one coming. I called it earlier. I said, if you're going to vacate those titles, which it wasn't confirmed at that point, but if you're going to vacate those titles, it's going to be Death Triangle versus somebody, versus some other trio that has good history with them. And that's what happened. You had Death Triangle versus the Best Friends, and Death Triangle are your winners. You got Pac, who's now the All-Atlantic champion and a trios champion.
MJF played a great troll tonight. He played the fans. Yeah. I was like, he's going face.
I knew as soon as he came out, oh boy, this guy come out looking like John Cena right now, hometown crowd boy.
You gotta love MJF. And if I'm Tony Khan, I'm doing anything in my power to keep him right now because
fuck yeah.
If you're losing CM Punk, you gotta keep the second best thing you got going on in your product. You can't let him go walk to WWE. And yes,
and that's why they're trying to rewrite the story to get Punk out of the equation, but Moxley into it, because they could play the same kind of situation, but just a different scenario,
Right. But in the news, guys, Statlander is out with another knee injury, so she's having surgery, so she's going to be gone. That's a huge blow. Alex Reynolds is out with I had the video done for it, but I never put it up. He's out injured with a supposedly ankle injury. CM Punk, if we're reading all the news, no matter what, suspended or fired, he's out for literally 9 months. What it looks like to me to be a tear or a rotator cuff injury is what Cena had for a while there. A torn pec, you don't come back for quite some time. And, it serves him right. You're throwing punches in a locker room, you're going to get hurt. And he played with fire. And he's injury prone. We're finding out now CM Punk.
Not to mention he's older now. He's like, what, in his 40s now?
45.
Yeah.
44,
but, he's got to realize, like, these young boys out here are going to put the hurting on you, old man. You better be careful.
Well, and I get why we're starting to see chinks in the armor of CM Punk. Really, we are starting to see it. Now, when he got released from WWE, now we're seeing the reasons why. We're starting to see. He let
the hype of him returning hype up his ego way too much.
Yes.
And that overall became his downfall.
What I think should happen is, and this is what I think should happen, and then maybe I'm seeing this wrong, out of all of this, here's what I think should happen. If you're not going to fire CM Punk, you suspend him indefinitely without pay. You hurt him in the wallet hardcore. You make him learn a lesson that way. When you do bring him back, will the fan bring him back as a heel? That's what you kind of want to do, bring him back as a heel, if you go that way.
He's going to have to be a bad guy because everybody's going to boo him anyway.
Right. Ace Steel should be permanently fired. I agree with that. I think that's where they're heading with. CM Punk, either way, either permanently suspended indefinitely or without pay or fired. It's either going to be those two ways. The Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, they'll be unsuspended eventually. I think they'll get hit in the wallet a little bit. But I don't see them getting fired out of the company. Now, this is what I could see. I could see the Elite walking out on the company itself. being permanently suspended for too long. Now, I could see this happening, but I don't think they're going to. But where would they go, and why? Why would they go sign new? They would go back to New Japan. I don't think they would go back to WWE. I don't think they see the grass is greener on the other side there.
Yeah, no. What are they going to do? Go join Cody Rhodes?
Probably that's what they would do. I think they're going to, big picture, I think they'll stay in AEW. I just think everything could have been handled better. Honestly, as a wrestling fan, looking into this, did this hurt AEW for me? No. This did not hurt AEW for me. It just made me understand that there's a new wrestling promotion, and I don't know how Fatal feels about it, but it's a new wrestling promotion, and you have a owner that's more of a fan that's never really, outside of running the Jacksonville Jaguars, really didn't have experience. And with that, and you have an ego of CM Punk, it's lightning clashing in a bottle. It doesn't, it makes the owner look bad. That's when you sit back and you hit the reset button and you get people in place. Now, I will go through this article here for you guys. So there was a meeting beforehand, on hour beforehand, right? Fightful Select is reporting there was a team meeting with Daniel Bryan leading the charge with Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley. They led a meeting with all the roster, Ring of Honor and also Dark roster and everybody, letting them know that this will not stand, supposedly will not stand, and they're going to go forward from here. They're going to take ownership and charge. There's going to be people in place. So to me, here's what I think, personal opinion. I think Chris Jericho should be put as an EVP. I really am starting to believe that AEW loves him this much. And I think when Jon Moxley's said and done, I think he'll be an EVP. I think those two honestly know what's best for AEW. They know what's best for business. And
they got AEW in mind whenever they're competing and whenever they're doing all this stuff. They're not just looking out for themselves.
And even I was marking out, I don't know about Fatal here, but I was marking out for that Jon Moxley promo. I don't know about you, but it
was pretty good.
I felt Rocky vibes with that. Like, I felt the Rock vibes. When the Rock, remember when they were doing the invasion angle with the Rock? Where they had EC and WWE, ECW and WCW. It felt like that. Where he was like, we're not going to go into the night. I just felt like a Denzel Washington, we're not going to go into the night, we're not going to die, kind of like those sports movies. It just felt like Moxley hit the point. I just felt that he hit the nail on the head and everything. But we got a new pure Ring of Honor pure champion in Daniel Garcia. Wheeler Yuta, I think he'll get his championship back, but they gave it to the hometown boy today. I want to see what happens with William Regal, because William Regal said before, if Wheeler Yuta loses the title, there's going to be repercussions from him. So I want to see what happens on Rampage with this. I want to see it. I want to see him get slapped around by Mr. William Regal.
Lord Regal.
I loved it. They said Lord Regal. I love it. Love it. They're going old school. I love it. Caprice, man, I want to see him more on the commentator booth. Maybe Caprice was really good tonight. I really think they should put him on the booth, either somewhere in AEW. I feel he's really good. I feel like he can replace. He could be that replacement in the middle for Jim Ross. I really think so. I really believe Jim Ross could do the important matches and he can do the other matches. I really think during pay-per-views. So, Fatal, what did you think of the show tonight? What was your?
It wasn't bad. I like the trios match. I feel like that triangle really deserved to win the titles.
This guy's a mark for Penta.
In the place.
He's a mark for Penta. He loves Penta.
I love Penta. And Pac, too. Like, Pac, his character right now is what WWE should have done and dropped the ball on. And they never let him do his full, what he wanted to do, creative control-wise. And it's gold. It's so good. He's a good bastard.
You know, I got the vibes tonight of? I got the vibes of Miro. And I don't know why when I was listening to Wardlow, and I'm sorry to say this about Wardlow, you are not making the title prestigious at all. That's Wardlow's world. Arr. It's like, dude,
and he's facing a bunch of jobbers. Wardlow's world of jobbers, because that's all I'm going to face ever.
I want to see him face the Redeemer. You know?
Yeah, I want to see him face somebody big next time. You know, somebody big. I don't care who. Somebody big. Not fucking Hobbs either.
That TNT belt was prestigious, man. It was just like...
Yeah, Cody Rhodes made it something, and then Darby Allin carried that, you know, as the longest reigning fucking TNT champion and made it something. And now it's just, I don't know.
I'll say this: it's
a jobber title. It's almost basically on the same level as the 24/7 championship. Well, and we see where that is.
I will say this to you: it's more of, to me, it's up down. Like you had Scorpio Sky hold it right, and he was starting to come into his own, and then you have him drop it to Wardlow. Like,
and then we haven't seen Scorpio Sky or Ethan Page since
until recently with Stothy Hathaway, and I got to tell you,
no, they're not with him. They're not with them.
I thought Ethan Page was.
No, that's the Ass Boys.
Okay, that's the Ass Boys. Who was the guy in the flannel shirt that was beating the crap out of the guy tonight? Was that Ethan Page? I thought that was Ethan Page.
I don't think so. I might have missed that part.
If that is Ethan Page, then hell yeah, I'm cool with it. And to see William Morrissey, W. Morrissey, man, kicking ass.
Oh, God, please, can we change his name? God. I can't stand
Kaz XL?
Yeah, let's do that, you know?
You know, I gotta, you know, he looks ripped. His hair tonight looked pretty cool. He looks like...
He's awesome, and he is going to be a great character to see on TV and an in-ring performer. But that fucking name, man.
That guy needs to be fighting for the TNT belt. Can I just say... And where's the Murder Hawk? What happened to him? What happened to the Murder Hawk? What's his face? The Murder Hawk.
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer. What happened to him?
I don't know.
Like, he's forgotten. Is he with the company? Not with the company?
He's been gone for a while. Him and Snake.
I think really they should bring in some of these talents, you know, that they have sitting on the sidelines on Ring of Honor roster. So I have a question for you. So since now CM Punk may be fired out of the company, does this bring Colt Cabana into the spotlight now? Does he now start becoming a Dynamite thing on his own? You know, since his name's been brought up so many different times, does he get put on the center stage when Punk gets released? And does he now come back to Dynamite after all this? What do you think on that one?
I mean, anything's possible, I guess, but as it was said, though, it didn't seem like it mattered whether he was there or not.
No. And the Dark Order looks like they're splitting up, too. It looks like tonight they showed off El Idolo going over to 10, giving him a contract, saying he must sign this, and then they gave him a crutch. So It either tells me the Dark Order is splitting up because Alex Reynolds, their last and only hope that was getting a push, is done. They're done with him, or done with the Dark Order. Uno does not need the Dark Order, though. Evil Uno, he doesn't need the Dark Order, period. I think him and John Silver can do his own thing and be really good at what they do. John Silver's a hell of a talent. He's just too small. I don't see him getting a real big push. Maybe TNT belt, but I don't see as far as that goes. 10's built like a tank, and I don't know why they weren't utilizing him from the get-go. Like, 10 is an amazing piece of talent if you've ever seen him on Dark. He's great. It's just he's been buried to the sidelines. And that's what a lot of AEW talent. Now, what I think what Wardlow should go battle with, I think you put the Redeemer back in place. I think you put the Redeemer in there, and you could do a lot. I know they're going to go with Josh Woods to start because, you know, Josh Woods was the big Ring of Honor guy. They got to do something with him. You know, got to put him in a storyline of some sort. You can't just have these major talents sitting on the sidelines. You got to start putting them in storylines. And this is where your point came across. Rampage, do a 2-hour long show Put it on Truth TV. I don't care. Put it on somewhere where can I say this? Time slots are good. You know what I mean? Time slots are good. True TV's got a lot of viewers. You can put it on Discovery if you wanted to, but put it on a different time slot. And stop this whole it's got to be on TNT thing. I get it. It's your main show. I get it's your main channel. But so is Discovery. You can put it on TLC anywhere. You know, as far as in the Warner Broadcasting Discovery, network, you know what I mean? They can put it anywhere. Just to me, I just think Rampage they need to step up the game. If they're going to hit the reset button, that's the first thing I go with. Stop recording it, stop taping it, put it in Jacksonville. I agree with our fellow wrestling watching friend Sergio Sapesci. I agree with that. Put it in Daly's place. Make it live every week. I don't care what you do. You just got to make it better because Rampage looks like an afterthought. I don't know about you, but it just looks like an afterthought to me. So let's go over the match card. We had the women's match. We had Toni Storm versus Penelope Ford. I know Fatal stepped out for this match. I'll give it to you guys. Penelope Ford tried to hit a Northern Lights suplex from the ropes. And Toni Storm did this weird, I don't know if it was like a reverse Canadian destroyer or what it was. It was a hell of a botch. And you could see Penelope Ford hitting her head pretty good. And it was a 1, 2, 3. Like she was KO'd, knocked out for a second. So I don't know what they were doing. It was an elimination interim championship match. I don't know what they were calling it. It was an open challenge match, what it looked like. And this is the one part of the night that was butched. This was here. I don't know who came up with the scripting for this, but it was an open challenge technically. And Toni Storm literally won that match from the beginning, middle, and end. She hit this devastating, it looked like what X-Pac used to do, a Bronco bomb kind of deal with her backside. It was kind of devastating. And then that botch right behind it. They really got to start fixing these botches, man, because somebody's going to get hurt eventually in these women's matches. Because Toni Storm, I don't know if it was a bad call out by Penelope Ford or it was a bad call out by Toni Storm, and that's your champion. You guys should be figuring this out before the show goes live. But you could tell all night that the show was literally a shell of itself. They would give you little highlights of CM Punk kind of talking about it, but then subdued. The announcers kind of kept it subdued. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts. The show to me was good. If they could pull off more shows like this and keep it storyline driven and keep it flowing to an extent, minus the commercials, man. The commercials were killing me. Like, seriously. But anyway, Fatal, is there anything else you want to add to this? Any thoughts that you have on anything to do with the whole situation that's going on?
I just hope that they can pull together a decent enough story to tell with whoever MJF goes against.
Also, too, I forgot to report Malachi Black is gone out of AEW with I believe, 120-day non-compete clause or a 90-day complete clause. They said it was longer than WWE. So he got granted his release. So that is official on the board. Now that answers how many other wrestlers are leaving. Miro supposedly wants a release. I don't think that's the case. If Miro, it would have been all over the internet by now.
Yeah.
I think
that kind of news goes out.
Anything else in the wrestling news? No, except talking about more CM Punk. I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing about this man, honestly. I just want Tony Khan at the end of the night, and I will bring you a video if there is something in the middle of the night. I'll be game streaming. So if there's anything that's happening in the middle of the night, you will hear it first on SlamZoneSports, for sure. If there's a firing or whatever in the middle of the night, because I know Tony Khan, he don't sleep.
Never.
Never. So you'll hear from us one way or another. You'll hear within my stream, or you'll hear somewhere, and I'll clip it and put it out there for you guys. But you'll hear it no matter what Tony Khan does. It's really coming down to Tony Khan. What is Tony Khan going to do at this point? In the next couple of days, we're going to find out more and more details as they come out. And I know we're going to be reporting more and more. CM Punk news is hot. So I can tell you. I'm just going to have a laugh for a moment. Nyla Rose changes her name permanently. In the wrestling news, she had changed her name permanently. She's going as Knighting Penta? Knighting Penta.
Oh my God.
No, her name is Desmond. Changed his name to following Knighting Penta. What a name. What an interesting name.
Wow.
And in other wrestling news, just to give you guys more of it, Pat McAfee takes a full-time role outside of WWE with ESPN. Miro retweets some comments about CM Punk. Chelsea Green exposes herself at a GCW. What the hell is going on with GCW, dude? GCW is the Carney show, man. Starting to believe that. They're like the ECW back in the day. She shows her titties to a wrestler. And Matt Cardona rolls up for the 1, 2, 3 or whatever. Eddie Kingston has comments on CM Punk, says he can't stand the guy. So that's pretty much the wrestling news for today. There's a lot of it that we can go over. This would be like a 5-hour show. Honestly, CM Punk, should he be fired? Yes, absolutely. Do I think the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega should be fired? No. Not enough. I don't think there's not enough there for them to be fired. Do I think they should be hurting in the wallet? Sure, 100%. Should they go to some type of counseling? Sure. I think anger management counseling, yeah, for sure. I'm with that. Should they be suspended for a certain amount of time? Yes. Just like in any sport. If let's say LeBron James decided to go punch Steph Curry in the face, right? And beat the crap out of him. What's going to happen? He's going to get suspended probably for a month and get fined in an unenclosured amount. You know what I mean? The NBA is going to come down hard if that happened, hypothetically. Or it would be like McCaffrey, right? For the Panthers, right? Let's say he got mad at a referee, right? Got pissed off, just unloads, takes the Gatorade thing and throws it at him and hurts him. What's going to happen? Hypothetically, he's going to get suspended and fined an unenclosure amount. You know what I mean? So it happens in sports all day. So you guys need to understand that. Like, this happens all the time. How long is this suspension going to be? I'm going to assume, Fatal, how long do you think? How long do you think before we see them back?
The Bucks?
Yeah, and Kenny, how long do you think?
I think, I don't know, maximum maybe 6 months.
You think 6 months? Wow.
Max.
You think 6?
I think a minimum of maybe 3 weeks even,
I'm going to go
anywhere between 3 weeks and 6 months.
I think it's going to be 3 months. I think they're going to be suspended for 3. I think 90 days. Comrades Bivell. I don't think they're going to be here for this pay-per-view or Grand Slam, but I think the next pay-per-view after that, yeah, for sure. You don't have Kenny Omega just come back on TV, the most popular thing you have.
Yeah. Then gone.
You don't have him gone for too long. I think you'll see Kenny first. I think you'll see Kenny first come back out of suspension. I think the Young Bucks will stay suspended. I think you'll see him first. And then you'll see Adam Cole come back, and if he's healthy, you'll see him come back. You'll start seeing talent come back. Now, does this fuck storylines? Yes, it does. It does mess a lot of the storylines that we were excited for. But at the end of the day, Tony Khan's got to do what Tony Khan's got to do. Love the guy, respect the guy, however you want to slice and dice. I respect the hell out of him. He just has got to he's got to start maturing. This is where I go, You could be a fan all you want, and you could have your product all you want, right? You can have it all you want. You can be a fan all you want, but you have to. Yeah. There's got to be procedures in place. You got to be mature about what you're doing. That should have never took place. And me, and I'll say this, I was hyped up for it because I thought at first it was a work. I thought I was getting worked and shot on as a fan. I was like, oh, this is a storyline. Oh, MJF is going to be in the building. Holy shit. This is going to be a huge work, and CM Punk and MJF are going to work together, and it's going to be great. And it's going to be great. NWO 2.0. And boy, I was wrong. Boy, I was saying things out my mouth that night that I thought was right, and I was wrong. And I want to state in that video, I want to clarify two things. I was wrong. I said punch was thrown at Nick Jackson and knocked him out. I was wrong. It was, they knocked the doors in and chairs were thrown and things like that. Out of the suspensions, if I didn't mention it, Pat Buck was suspended. Christopher Daniels was suspended. Christopher Daniels was the shocking one out of it. But Tony Khan, anybody that didn't separate the situation, got fired or suspended. So, anyway, Fatal final thoughts?
Nope, I'm good.
You good? All right, guys, make sure to rate, like, and subscribe if you guys haven't. I know I've probably talked some of your ears off tonight. I just had a lot to say and a lot. I've been following this stuff. I texted Fatal so many different times. This afternoon, I'm like, did you see this? Oh my God, this is crazy. This is wild. While he was working, because I couldn't help myself because it was just so much information. And it was just like interesting. Where are they going to go? But yeah, I know I've talked all of your ears off. Make sure to rate, like, and subscribe, guys. Love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. And if you're watching this on Spotify, thank you for being a listener. Make sure to hit that follow button on Trovo, Twitch, YouTube, all of it. Make sure to hit up our social medias. We do have TikTok and also Instagram coming soon. Maybe a Facebook like page coming soon. We're working on it. We're slowly but surely getting around. And yeah, more sporting stuff coming, more gaming stuff for sure, and a lot more. Anyway, Fatal, take us out.
And that's all.